This is Connor Malik with my presentation on foot in the door and double foot in the door, asking for less to get more. What is foot in the door? Well, it's a technique of persuasion towards a greater end goal. It involves preceding the desired request with a smaller one that has a higher chance of success. And the agreement of the initial request results in a higher chance, or a higher likelihood, of the intended outcome being reached. As an example of foot in the door, or FITD, imagine that you want your kid to take out the trash. Instead of asking them directly, "Hey, can you take out the trash?" you'd start with a leading question. You'd say something like, "Hey, can you throw away my plate for me?" which is your small request. You follow it with something along the lines of, "And while you're there, why don't you take the trash out for me?" which is the bigger and desired request. The simple reformation of your sentence is what elicits the response you were looking for. And what is double foot in the door? Well, it's a technique of persuasion towards a greater end goal. It involves preceding the desired request with multiple smaller ones that have higher chances of success. The agreement to the initial requests results in a higher likelihood that the intended outcome may be reached. The key difference between foot in the door and double foot in the door is that double foot in the door involves two or more leading requests, whereas foot in the door only involves one. As an example of double foot in the door, let's say you want to spend the night at your friend's house. Instead of simply saying, "Mom, can I spend the night at my friend's house?" try using double foot in the door. You'd start by saying something like, "Can my friend drive me to school today?" Followed later by, "Hey, can I stop by his house and hang out since he's driving me home anyway?" And end with something along the lines of, "Since I'm already here, can I just spend the night?" While it'll take more time, it'll greatly increase your chances of success. Why do they work? Well, the relationship and or trust established by completing the first task or tasks gives subject a sense of obligation to continue. It gives them a higher form of self-gratification. It makes them feel like they did something good for a friend or for society. Subject will tend to feel a drive to be consistent when they've helped with one or more smaller tasks rather than if they didn't. And beginning with a smaller, simpler task normalizes doing things for that person, which makes the bigger task sound much more reasonable. How well do they work? In a study that can be found on kobe.edu, we see that Soche and Garandola's experiment found that people who completed the first two preparatory acts were more likely than those who were more likely to also complete the first task, which was at 75%, than people who only completed the first act, which was only 70% or 60%, as well as people who did not complete any of the preparatory acts, the control group, which was only a 30% success rate. Though we see a higher percentage with more preceding tasks, we also see that there are declining returns as the percentage goes down, as the numbers goes up. And it seems that two tasks before the main goal is optimal. Despite higher returns, even employing one preparatory act can double your chances of success, which shows the effectiveness of this technique. Thanks for watching.